Jam, and here we go. Welcome. It's Friday night here at Cedar Springs Brewing Company, and we are Shutdown Happy Hour once again. This is the third time now we've done this. It's like a whole collection here. We've got when there's more than one, that makes a collection, right, Tony? So we've got a great group here today, and we're going to talk a little bit about beer.
Beer time.
This is beer time, absolutely. So we're going to dedicate this show a little bit to beer. So we're going to start out with Brian Brewtus Roders. He's one of our talented brewers here at Cedar Springs Brewing. Hey, brother.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
Excellent.
You were an MBAA scholarship winner. So
Yes.
How long have you been in the industry?
You're going to ask me that, weren't you? About 8 years, I believe, if I'm going to guess.
We can take off your shoes and socks if
Yeah,
you want.
you know, well, I still have all my fingers.
Count it out.
No farming accidents here.
Yes.
And then, last year we all went down and did a sensory evaluation course and Masters of Style from the Siebel Institute in Chicago, which is really the oldest and the premier brewing school
in the United
States. Yeah, so that was a cool experience, and we were hoping to take a class again this spring, but wouldn't you know it? They shut down the school.
Everything's done. They're extending online learning, like everybody else.
That's right. And then we've also got Heidi with us. So Ashley Gould is hanging out, and Ashley, you do a lot of our festival coordination.
Yeah.
So we haven't had many festivals.
We have not had any. It makes me very sad.
But you work front of house also, along with helping out on the festivals, and then you recently just passed your level 1 Cicerone.
I did, yes.
Yeah, which is very cool.
I'm super excited about it.
You were nervous about it forever.
I really was.
We have been missing out on festivals.
We have, yes. So we had Start Beer Fest here, which was canceled. I know.
We have some strong beer hanging around, Brian. We're going to talk about that.
It's sitting in the cooler somewhere.
It's ready. It's ready to be drank.
That's usually one of our biggest festivals of the year.
It is, yes, here.
Right.
And then the Michigan Brewers Guild had for the first time ever, a spring festival in Traverse City that everybody was really excited and jazzed about. And then
looking forward to that, yeah.
I was too. And so then they canceled that, and then summer. But fingers crossed, we have Marquette, which is my personal favorite, and then Detroit after that.
Well, the summer festival really is one of the biggest festivals in the state. I mean, that's I don't even know what the numbers are, 8,000 or 10,000 people that end up showing up for that thing.
Yeah, and that's the only one right now that's still 2 days. All of the rest have got down because they added the spring one.
And it's a bummer, and I know for a lot of us, we missed the chance to see all of our friends, and they usually hear you coming before they see you. So
that's true.
And then we also have our musical talent extraordinaire, Tony Halchek, is joining us today. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. We tried to get away from the Irish, but now what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a stout. It's very early.
It's not just for breakfast anymore, Tony.
Really?
So the air is our Irish stout. Yeah, we had Jim and Toby that were in the last couple of weeks, and they were both a little more Celtic oriented. And of course, they gravitate to the stouts. But apparently, this is a trend. We're going to have to spoon feed stout to all of our musical talent each time.
I can't have my coffee. I drink my stout.
That's right. That's right. Well, cool. Well, this is awesome. So, what are we drinking all this morning? Ash?
I have the Salzburger Märzen.
Märzen? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an Oktoberfest style
beer.
It is, we're kicking off summer here
nice and malty, a little bit of caramel note to it. It's one of my favorites.
Was that on your test?
The Märzen was not, no.
Oh, okay.
I would have crushed it if it were.
All right, so lager. And B, what you got over there?
I'm running with a lager as well, except I'm drinking the Bohemian style pills. So, it's hot today. It's hot in the brew house. Just need a light, easy drinking beer to make it through the day.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think as we go out and visit our other friends in the industry, it's kind of funny. I mean, I think most brewers, pills is what they end up gravitating for the most part.
And the big part of that too, if you're going into a brewery, a lot of people gravitate towards, I want to try their IPA and see how great it is, where a lot of people that are in the industry are more going to gravitate towards the lightest beer possible, because if someone's not good at making beer, that's the hardest one to make. So,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's not right, then...
Well, and anything that's wrong is going to show up there.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide behind.
IPAs sometimes are going to blast your palate, and it kind of ruins your taster for just a little while.
Yeah, especially after a few hours.
Yeah.
You get a good session on, something might be a little off.
Well, I am drinking our Kuster Dunkelweizen today, which is our dark wheat beer, and this was just named at Review Magazine as one of the finalists for the best German beer in West Michigan. We actually had 2 of the 3 finalists.
Yep.
So our Kuster Original and our Kuster Dunkelweizen were both named on there, along with our friends down at Third Nature, the Hef.
Oh, really? Okay,
We're also
that's
named as
awesome.
the top 3 German beers here locally in West Michigan. And then we also had our Märzen was named as one of the best lagers in the region.
Darn
So
right.
we've got like a whole collection of winners around here, and the beers aren't bad either. So we may as well kick this show off and refresh ourselves. Prost. Prost. So speaking of beer a little bit, Brian, we had a chance. One of the things that we've done here on a regular basis is travel. We kind of go to the source. So last year we took the 3rd trip for our brewing team to go over to the old country. So we visited some of the classic Weissbier breweries, and when our last trip, we actually had a chance to go visit our model for this beer.
Yeah, Budoviche, which is in
The Czech Republic.
in Czech Republic, I'm trying to
now
think.
Czech Republic, Bohemia.
But Bohemia. And we were able to have an awesome tour of their facility with their director of brewing operations and their brewmaster. And we spent, I don't know how many, hundreds of feet we walked through that beer cellar. And
Well, they had, 250 horizontal fermenters in that thing?
At least.
And the brewmaster was, he was maybe a little over 5 feet. He was not a very big guy.
Yeah.
And we must have sampled off of, how many fermenters did we sample off of on that?
I would say at least 8, and most of them more than once.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And these are full half liters. These are, these are brewer samples
That's
at
right.
half liter at a time. This is no 1 ounce
He
sample.
kept saying, "Do you want another beer?" And we would say, "Well, yeah, we'd like another beer." And he would say, "I am a little bit drunken." But he kept asking for more beer,
Yeah,
so we're like,
and
"Okay, we're in."
It worked, and seeing him just hang on the side of a tank that's 30 feet in the air on a rickety ladder from
I think
the
the ladder was
before
so
the Iron Curtain.
that ladder was Soviet era ladder.
At least.
That's right. We're all standing underneath him in case we got to catch this guy when he's falling down
Yes.
with his pigtail trying to draw off the
Homemade
fermenters.
pigtail is the best.
That's right. And it's funny, Budoviche is the Czech Budweiser, so a lot of people know it as the Czech Budweiser, and that's a 1 million hectoliter brewery. It's actually owned by the state of the Czech state as a national brewery, but they're able to use the word Budweiser in Europe, and the American version of Bud, I think, is American AB or something. They have a different name for it over there, so they know the difference. Yeah.
It's not hard to tell.
So you had a chance, Ash, when we were over on the last trip. We also take a tour with BIER trips, which is part of what our Stammtisch logo is here. But we had a chance to visit kind of the source and the inspiration for your beer
Yes.
at Augustiner
Augustiner
Muln,
Muln,
Mulnerbräu.
That was one of my favorite places.
And they
well,
had
Salzburg is just beautiful anyway,
the
but
Stein mug or the stone mugs that we were able to drink out of.
yeah, and then you rinse them out with either like warm or cold water, and then go up and the surly man pours you a beer
Straight from the wood barrel.
straight from the wood barrel.
That's right.
There's only one beer you can get, and this
Right.
is it. And I was totally
It's
fine
seasonal.
with
When
it.
we were there, it was Stark beer time,
Stark beer
so
time,
we were
yeah.
able
Oh,
to
okay.
get Stark beer as well.
The Bock
so-
beer, yeah,
Very nice.
which is wonderful as well. But there's something beautiful about that beer coming off of the wood
It's so
keg
good.
with the soft natural carbonation and the bubbles they aren't going straight to your head. That you can actually sit and drink a little bit. I know one of our other peeps that we had a chance to take over there, that I think the first time he sat down and drank that beer, and he was just like, "Oh my God, that's the best beer I've ever had in my entire life."
Yeah.
And it really is. It's a subtle, layered beer that you can just sit around and have conversation with. And we did.
We did.
How many people we have in that group? 30 people, I think?
Close to. It's like
Yeah.
26.
So that's one of the big things in the beer halls is having these big, huge, long
Yes.
tables where everybody sits around and, you have a couple of beers and it just, it creates almost conversation.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago. One of the pleasures I've had in here is being able to sit and watch people on a Friday or a Saturday night, and the place is just full of people, and they're not looking at their phones and they're not looking at the TV, but they're having conversation.
Yeah, it is really nice too as a server too to, people are actually engaging and you're not just like feeling like you're interrupting them on their phone. It's,
Right.
It's cool.
Well, and we had another trip scheduled with BIER trips this spring that
Yeah.
unfortunately also fell victim to the COVID crisis.
It did.
But that is now rescheduled for the spring of 2021. And I think we ended up, a few people couldn't make the reschedule, and so I think there were 5 spots open again, and those sold out in a day.
Yeah, hours.
But that's one of those cool things. That's something that we will continue to do on a regular basis. So, for people out there that maybe have interest in some of these trips, these are guided beer culture tour trips, if you will, where we take a group of about 30 people over there, and we're visiting these family-owned breweries. I mean, we go to a few of the tourist places, but a lot of these are folks who are personal friends and places that we are able to visit regular. And Mom is actually in the kitchen cooking up your lunch for you, and we're actually walking through with the brewers and having a chance to to really see the way things have been done now for generations.
Yeah.
Schneiderweiss is a 6th-generation brewery. Michael Plank is 16 generations. Unertel is one of our favorites.
Yes.
That is a 4-generation brewery.
It's our first stop next year.
Yeah, it's our first stop when we get off the boat this time.
Yes.
So looking forward to seeing those guys again.
too.
So, as you guys got into craft a little bit, what were some of your inspirations? Did you have something that maybe inspired you, Brian, to get into the industry?
Let's say, as far as my big push getting in industry was a college roommate of mine was moving to Alaska, and he had started homebrewing a little bit, and he's like, I can't afford to move all this stuff up there. You take it. So I was gifted a bunch of homebrew stuff, and
all I got was a washer when my roommate left on my last house. Goodness sakes.
yeah. And so I had a hodgepodge of junk that I kind of made some beer with for a while, and I messed around with it, and I realized, you know what? I hate my job, and I took a leap of faith and landed in this industry, and it's been an awesome ride so far. So.
Yeah, well, it's, and I think one of the cool things about this, it's almost like, I'm a big baseball fan, and it's one of the things I was talking to my kids the other night about, one of the cool things to me about baseball is you're always learning something new, and there's always new stats or new trivia or new techniques or the game within a game. Beer's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even
with a lot of the historic and old style beers that we're doing, I mean, we're not right on that cutting edge of trendy craft beer by any means.
We would be a long way from the cutting edge.
Yes. But there's still so much that's just taking place, and I mean, there's always new things to learn.
Well, one of the things we've really dedicated ourselves to, and actually it is somewhat trendy to do these old world styles because nobody's really doing these, but I mean, our beers are all the 4 ingredients in all of our beers. We're creating this variety and all these flavors with 4 ingredients, which are
Water, hops, yeast, and malt.
Water, hops, yeast, and malt. You must have had a good beer class at some point.
We have brewed a wit beer here and there, and that may have a little coriander in it.
A rare exception, but it's a traditional exception.
That's the other side. Is it's still an old world beer? So
exactly. And then, so when you first started here, Ash, you kind of started here. It was a job, I'm guessing, but was it because it was a brewery or?
Well, so I'd been in the service industry forever. And at the time when I started here, I was just working one job, and it was in an office, and I wanted something to do, and we were opening here, and so I got a second job, which was here, and I just absolutely fell in love with the brewing industry, not just service, but more so focused on this particular part of that. And so then I quit that other job and went full-time here, and haven't looked back since.
The conferences are fun too, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, it was great.
Fermenta is the organization of industry professionals for females in Michigan, and you were the recipient of their scholarship last year. So you had a chance to attend the Michigan Brewers Conference, Winter Conference, which is kind of the state trade fair, if you will, for the brewing industry. So there was maybe 500 people at that thing.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah,
of people.
so I mean, there's about 250 members of the Michigan Brewers Guild and close to 400 breweries in the state. So most of them are represented. So that's a mix of learning, of education, and there's a trade show as part of it, and classroom work, and of course some networking.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was nice. That was a really, really awesome experience, and I was very thankful that I won that scholarship. I learned a lot and met a lot of people, and going to the trade show and seeing all of the things that pertain to this industry was neat too. You don't always think of every little aspect of it, but it's kind of
I think of them because I get the invoices for all of them.
Maybe a purchase request.
Yeah.
So are there other brewing influences then, Brian, as you've evolved here then? I mean, you've been with us for, 3 years now?
Yeah, 3 years now.
Okay.
So,
don't mean to put you on the
I would
spot. We're
say,
not.
I'm blanking on that one completely.
That's okay. No big deal. Well, hey, as we do each and every week, we also want to take a quick little break here. And one of the things that we do on a regular basis all year long on Wednesday nights and on Sundays during brunch from noon to 2, and we're hoping to get back to this very, very soon, is musical talent. We've got amazing local talent, and as we kick off the summer season here, we're going to have Jeep nights coming up again. We're going to have Dream Ride nights coming up again here this summer as we enter into June, and we have live music outside for both of those as well on Tuesdays and on Thursday evenings. And Tony Halchek is one of our awesome local talents that is able to come in and multi-versatile. You also do some of our kids programming here when we have family days, when have little kids, and you have a whole kids program that you do. But we're overjoyed to have you in here today, and what do you have for us?
Oh, well, I got a brand new song for you guys. I've had a lot of time to write, believe it or not.
You better not screw this one up.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. Perfect. It's your professionalism that we admire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of time to write these last few months.
Yeah.
It's not been planned, so I wrote this song called A Good Woman. It's a brand new song. There's a hole inside the middle of him, fills it with smoke and mirrors, whiskey and gin. It's when he opens his heart, lets another one in. Woman, he knows she's the one to become the best part of him. Oh, a good woman can change a man. She'll strengthen his heart and soften his hand. When a girl lets you deep inside, yeah, she'll take all that's left and make it right. Telephone solo. Man's just a tumbleweed. He rambles and roams. He's a ghost who's most simply haunting a home. So you'll find true love. She turns on the light, awakens the spirit inside, brings the soul to new life. Yeah, a good woman, it can change a man. She'll strengthen his heart, soften his head. When a girl lets you deep inside, yeah, she'll take all that's left and make it right. So love a good
to anchor his soul. Love a good woman, to have and to hold. Yeah, a man needs a ride. A man needs a ride. Honey, you're my rock. Yeah, you anchor my soul. Love a good woman. Love a good woman.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And obviously, Tony, we've missed you. I think you've missed a couple of gigs here.
Yeah, a couple, 2 or 3.
And then I was looking too, this whole list of awards, and 3 Jammies this year in Best New Artist, Best Contemporary Album of the Year for 2020, but you've got stuff going back here to 2016. International Songwriters Award finalist for Song of the Year in 2019. My goodness. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, again, as I say this every week, I'm always surprised at how blessed we are here locally with the talent we have. I know I have one of these CDs, and I listen to it regularly in my car, but I think we just flashed up his website. But, man, check some of these out. I assume these are available to purchase on your...
Yeah, you can listen. I have them all on the website you can listen to, and they're also on like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and anywhere you listen to it, really.
Yeah, right. So the licensing agency sends you a check for 26 cents once every 6 months.
I wish it was 26 cents. It's more like 0.00001.
The bank
Cost
charges you to cash the check.
Costs more for the postage. So, well, awesome. Thank you, sir, for being here. And we talked a little bit early about Starkbier Fest, and then we kind of alluded. So we've got some beers that are left over. What are some of the beers that you look forward to at Starkbier Fest when we do that in the spring?
I like our Weitzenbach.
Yeah.
Is great. The Maibach, which we both have on tap right now.
Right.
And I was really looking forward to the barrel-aged ones.
Well, that kind of hints. So what do we have back there in the cellar, Brian?
So we do have barrel-aged versions of both of those beers, the Weitzenbach and the Maibach, which were both barrel-aged in Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels.
Oh.
So
this will be the third time that we've done the Kusterer Weitzenbach, and we put it into a Buffalo Trace bourbon barrel.
Yep.
And for those of you that may not be familiar, Weitzenbach is a strong wheat beer. This was a style invented in 1904 by the Schneider Brewery in Munich. Actually, the brewery itself is in Kelheim now, but Aventinus is theirs that most people know of. So this is somewhat in that line, and when we lay it in that bourbon barrel, and it's most of these bourbon barrel beers that you get out there are always imperial stouts, which is fine. But this has almost a little bit more of a fruity, plummy flavor, and you get those nice bourbony, woody aromas that come out of a lot of vanilla.
yeah, that just kind of opens up a lot of that, get a little more air into the beer, kind of open up some of those big complex flavors, the dark malt, and then give it some time to rest on that oak and a little bit of booze.
So we're going to have something for people to look forward to here as we get back to opening this up, because we're going to release these now. We couldn't do it for Starkbier Fest, so we'll start releasing these beers as we get into the as we get the doors back open again. I'm sure it'll be with some social spacing as our executive orders are lifted. And then we also have the potential really to do some other new creative things as we get the Brauhaus open up in Grand Rapids.
Yep, on Bridge Street. So we're going to be looking at doing a lot of different things down there as far as the ability to do some collaboration beers,
right,
and maybe do some one-off stuff that doesn't make sense for us to do here on a 15-barrel brew house, because that one-off beer,
it might sit there.
It takes a little while, and it doesn't really make sense a lot of times to distribute a one-off beer.
Right.
So then we run into a hard time of, when's this beer going to be gone? Or, like, we need to open some draft space. So,
Right.
running that, we're looking at having a 3-barrel
Well,
brew
we've been
house down
pinched a
there.
little trying to do
Yeah.
some collaborations with a lot of our friends here in Beer City, USA, and not being able to do this just because for that time, if you have 30-something kegs of it, it sometimes may not move as quick as we want. We need to get other things in there seasonally. So this will give us the opportunity to do more of those things and experiment just a wee bit.
Yes.
And as we're obviously dealing with this whole coronavirus thing, I mean, we were kind of compiling when we had a managers meeting recently of all the things that we've done in the brief time, really it's been over 2 months now.
Yeah.
But, we compiled a list of all the stuff that we've done here at Cedar Springs over this time, and these really are in no particular order, but we gave away bathroom paper. There was a while when people couldn't find bathroom paper,
Yes.
so we gave that away with orders. So we had, that was probably 4 weeks that if anybody came in and made an order for, I think it was $20 or something,
yeah.
we gave them a free roll of fancy schmancy Cedar Springs toilet paper.
I think I have mine on my shelf still with a sticker on it.
Well, we've got your back.
Just in case.
That's right. We canned beer for the first time.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
did that. We canned our Custer Original. We had a batch that was sitting in a fermenter that we didn't want it to go to waste, and we were able to borrow a canner and put these in. So we had 160 or 50 cases of beer that we kind of went through in 5 days,
about
6
5
days,
days.
something
5 days,
like that.
rolled it off.
So sorry, it's gone. We instituted daily health screenings, so every day when we come in, we're doing daily health screenings for all the staff and taking everybody's temp and tracking all of that. We instituted delivery service. We'd never done that before, so that was a quick pivot right away. And you've been doing some of the delivery
yes.
along with that. There's 7 or 8 of you guys that have been doing deliveries for us on a regular basis. We enhanced some hand washing procedures, single-use gloves, so the kitchen staff and our delivery were single-use gloves on that. We expanded our catering program, so we've been doing a lot more catering for large party, including a lot of our first responders here, Metron, Story Point, some of the folks here that are kind of really on the front lines of this whole thing. Actually, Kent County Health Department, we were able to take down a large, and a lot of the Meijer stores actually have been great. We've been feeding a lot of their folks that are out there, so that's 100 to 350 sandwiches a time that we're taking down to a lot of the local area Meijer stores. Spartan Nash has instituted a grocery program with them, so we've been able to actually have some of our cool Bavarian dishes that are right out there for people to take in a grocery store on a take and bake basis, which has been kind of cool. We've expanded takeout and instituted curbside, so people, if they don't want to come in, can pop right in and just call. We'll bring it out to them. The groceries we mentioned, well, we talked about the bathroom tissue, but we had a grocery program as well, and we still kind of have that for some hard-to-find items when people weren't able to find. Baking yeast was one of those
Baking
things.
yeast, flour.
Yeah, yeast, flour, eggs.
Flour, eggs, ground beef, some of these things that
chicken breast
we were
was
able to.
another
Chicken
one.
breast,
Yeah.
absolutely, and obviously toilet paper. If you couldn't find these things, so we put a grocery plot in. We had our staff all wearing masks. So when we are open for service, you'll see that everybody does have their masks on. We just launched a no-touch menu, so you can come in here if you don't want to touch a menu and you're not familiar. You can take your phone, you can zap that up and pull the menu right up on your phone and look it over that way on your own phone instead of touching or reusing a menu. Obviously, we reduced our capacity right away. We're regularly sanitizing surfaces, doors, the pens, when people use the pens, to redo those right away. We're sealing to-go containers. When people get their to-go food, those are sealed. So once the clean hands, gloved hands have touched those, it's sealed up. Nothing's going to fall out as you're taking things home. All you guys have gone through ServSafe training. So all the staff has gone through delivery training and takeout training, and then everyone who touches food is now doing ServSafe food handler training. So there's a whole wall of certificates. If you do pop in here, you can see all the training that everybody's done. We've just put new sneeze guards in at the bar, so when you're picking up your food, and those can also be on the long tables to help create some space. Again, we're just trying to keep both our employees safe and keep our guests safe when they are coming in here, social spacing as well. So, it was just kind of interesting to compile that whole list of all these things that are suddenly, some enhanced and some brand new things that have taken place. And gosh, we're certainly hoping that this executive order now is the last one that we're we're up to it here by mid-June. We can get back open in time for Jeep Nights
Yes, get everything started back up again.
Yes.
and Dream Ride
Yes.
Nights on Tuesdays
Some live music.
and some live music.
And open the beer garden. I'm just so excited about that.
Well, it is frustrating too that we can't serve in the beer garden. I mean, we have the space out there, and we're certainly hoping that we've actually applied to create a little more space. So on some of these evenings, we can create some social spacing outside,
Yeah.
and be able to serve folks safely as we enter back into this partial service here. So, anyway, this has been a delight. Obviously, we try to keep this to about a half an hour here. I want to thank Ashley and Brian, both you guys, for being here.
Appreciate
Thanks
the
for having
opportunity.
us.
And
Yeah.
Tony, so do you have a website that people can go to and find you?
Yeah, Tony Halchak, my name. TonyHalchak.com.
So the hull check part is the part that we gotta double check on. We want to thank the Headwind Agency as well for doing
Yes,
this.
definitely.
They've been awesome in getting all this set up, and we hope that you guys enjoy as you're kicking back on a Friday night, hopefully with a beautiful Cedar Springs freshly crafted beer you can pick up on growlers at any old time, and have a great rest of the evening. Prost.
Prost.
Zum Wohl.
Prost.
Prost.
Prost.